Welcome to part 2 of the tutorial series on how to set up your Vtuber model. In this video, I'm going to show you how to go from something like this to something that looks more like that. Now, a fair disclaimer, you do not need the fanciest tracking equipment. I use a $15 webcam and VBridger. However, VTube Studio and just a webcam is fine as well. This also works for iPhone, of course. Any tracking method this will work with. The only important thing you will need to have in mind is that you need good lighting. So I suggest investing in a good ring light or just turning up the lights in your room so that your camera can, track your face better. Because obviously the more the camera sees, the more your model can move. Now, I'm going to link an amazing tutorial down below that I've used to connect VBridger to VTube Studio. Please give the creator all the love and follow them and say thank you, because without all these people, we couldn't be doing VTubing. Now, once you've connected your VBridger or webcam to VTube Studio, we can begin. I'm just going to go over some basics, and then we're going to go straight into setting up the tracking. Now I'm going to go over basic tracking first, and then VBridger tracking, because it is a little bit different, but kind of the same. Now, in VTube Studio, to connect it with just a webcam, you do it over here. So if you have only webcam, this is the place to go. Over here where it says webcam tracking video and visual settings. Now I'm going to connect my VBridger to VTube Studio. And Pip should move. There we go. Once again, big shout out and thank you to PermPip for letting us use her model for our demonstration purposes. She's an amazing creator, so go give her some love as well. Now, we're just going to focus on model settings today. I will go over everything in VTube Studio another time, so don't worry. If there's something about the program you have questions about, leave a comment down below. I will go ahead and answer it, and I will also make a video on it. So don't worry, it is coming. For now, it is just the tracking setup we're focused on. Now, it starts up here with idle animation. Now, Pip doesn't have any, but they're still important to know. You can download some for free from other creators, just go looking on the internet. Make sure to read their TOS as always, but if you don't have any, you can get them from other people for free. Some, I think you can buy some. I haven't looked into it too much since I don't really use animations that much. You can also make your own, which I will show you in another video. And you don't need to know how to do rigging. You can do it all in VTube Studio. But for now, this is where it goes. So if your rigger hasn't set this up for you, it should be here. For example, if you have like moving stars or like a rotating halo or something, you would set up your idle animation. And tracking lost basically means if something covers your webcam or like, phone camera, or you simply get up from your desk, your model would maybe fall asleep or do something else silly while you're gone. So it doesn't just do a deadpan stare while you're dealing with other stuff. Now, if at any point you mess up or something goes horribly wrong, you just hit auto setup, just like that, and create new parameters again. Now keep in mind, if you already made new parameters, like for VBridger for example, or the special ones like MouthX, those will be deleted and replaced with the standard ones. So you will have to make them again, but if you need help on how to do that, just watch part 1 and I will go over that there as well. For now we're fine, so I'm just going to hit cancel. You may have noticed, if you connect your tracking method to VTube Studio, that your model is very bouncy. And that's usually the default to movement configuration. Now I'm going to show you what I mean by that. If I turn it up, Pip is very bouncy now, very movie. And that's because it's movement configuration. It just adds more bounce to it, I should say. Now, keep in mind, X is always left and right. So if you move left and right, it will move left and right more. To the left, to the right. Now up and down, same thing with Y. That's more down, that's more up. Now Z is usually the little tilt, but for this tutorial, it's actually zooming in and out, like going back and forth like that. Now, I usually have it turned off because I don't like movement configuration that much, but a thing to keep in mind with this tutorial, I want you to be happy with your model in the end. So set this model up how you want it to be set up. If you want it crazy bouncy, if you want it crazy stiff, that is up to you. Make your model fit how you want it to fit. This will just tell you how you can do this. So don't worry about anything or anyone else, just make it look fun to yourself. Up here are also fun options that we can work with, but they're not important for this video. I will go into customized model in a separate one, so don't worry about this up here for now. Now, physics settings is something else we should talk about, because they can also make or break your model. What I mean by make and break your model? Well, simple. If I turn up to 100, you're going crazy. If I turn to 0, you're sad and stiff. Now, you can go to any number in between this. There's no limit. But what if you like something with more physics, but not the rest? For example, if you have very nice chest rigging and you want it more bouncy, or less bouncy, but not the rest of the body, how do you do that? Well, simple. You see the little settings wheel next to physics strength? Just hit that, and suddenly this menu pops up. Now, these are all your physics parameters. And if you turn them up to 2, maybe I should pick something that's more visible. So I'm going to reset it back to the basics. I'm going to go with the little leaf. Now, if we do little leaf X, it's more bouncy. If we turn it down, it's a little less bouncy. So play around with these settings. Have fun with them. If at any point you want to go back to the basic settings, just hit the reset, just like that. There we go. And then once you're happy with how the physics look, hit OK. And now some should be more, some should be less. If you wondered how I zoomed in on this model, I just used the mouse. I used left click, you can move it around. If you scroll the mouse wheel, you can zoom in and out. If you don't want this to happen at any point, you can lock the model. And now, no matter how much I move Pip around, she ain't going anywhere. She's stuck. So that's how you move the model around, just in case you want to look into more specific things when you're setting up the mouth, for example, or the eyes. That will just help you a bit. And now, wind strength. There's a little breeze coming through. Very nice as well. As always, if you go to settings wheel, you can only have a few things deal with the wind. The body going up or left and right. Or just a hair, if you want the hair to flow in the wind. That's how you do that as well. Dragging physics, I'm not too sure about those. Just play around with it. Have fun. Go nuts. These are the basics that you should know about that can help your model move a bit more around. And let's get into the fun stuff. Now, what we have here are these boxes with face, left/right rotation, and face lean, eye open. Now, these are parameters, and we will set those up. If you're ever unsure what a parameter does at any point, you can go into hotkey settings and expressions, expression editor, create new expression, hit select, and you have all your parameters at your disposal. So if you don't know what a parameter does, you can select it here and just play with it. So if it hits 30, it looks right. If it hits -30, it looks left. That's how they all work. Let's see if there's a mouth one. There we go, mouth form. 1 is smile, -1 is frown. So you can make expressions like that, but before I get ahead of myself, I will make a separate video on how to set up expressions for a Vtuber model. This is just so you know what parameter does what if you ever get lost and don't know what the deal of one is. Like, what is mouth pucker widen, for example? That's a V-bridger one, but still, what is it? As you can see, it widens and makes the mouth go smaller. So in any case you're ever confused on how a parameter works or looks, you can go here, test it out, hit cancel, and then hit done and go back. It's a bit of a process to set up your model, but that's okay. Now, I'm going to explain to you what it all means. Now that we all know what a parameter is, what's input, what's output, what's smoothing, what's limit range, what does it mean? Well, I'm here to help. Input is always the thing that Vtuber Studio reads. For example, input is your face, or, screw it. Let's say your mouse. Let's say your mouse. Now, if I move the mouse left and right, the head moves left and right. If I move my own head left and right, it will not work. So input is what the input is, obviously. Now, X is left and right, Y is up and down, Z is like a tilt. Just keep that in mind. If the input is your face or your keyboard or your mouse or whatever, then what's the output? Well, that's the model. So output is always your model, what the model is showing. So keep that in mind up here. Smoothing, it makes everything smoother. However, it will cause a bit of a delay in your tracking. As you can see, it's not as fast. And with that, it snaps my movement a lot better. So play around with smoothing, how you want the snapping to work with the model. Go nuts with it. As always, this model is you, so make it move how you want it to move. Now, what are these numbers down here? Well, these are our bread and butter, because this is what counts. Basically, input is the stuff you want to mess around with. Output are the basic settings that your rigger has set up for this model. Now, you can play around with output, but they should never go over the little grayed out numbers that you see here. For example, 30 max, you do not want to go to 31 because it just doesn't exist. 30 is the max you can hit with this, and minus 30 is the max you can hit down here. Now, what is 30 and minus 30? What is this? Well, as you can see, there's a little red dot here that keeps flouncing and bouncing all over the place. And that's the camera signal to VTube Studio. So basically, that's the number the program is reading your face at right now. So if I go and look to my right, I hit 39. Crazy. If I look to my left, I hit minus 38. As you can see, the number moves, but it does match up here. Why? Because I hit stuff very easily with my face. That is why. So if I turn to 30, you can see the button goes up. So I would have to change the top button up here to 38. And going left, it goes down, the red dot. So it will be minus 38. Now if I look, the movement looks a lot better. But I don't like it. I personally don't like it. So I'm going to go back to 30. And minus 30. A thing to keep in mind with the numbers is, the higher you put the input number down here, the harder it will be for your face to reach it. Let's say I put this number at 60. See how it's harder for my face to hit the right angle compared when I look left? That's because 60 is way too high. Now, if you have problems reaching a certain parameter, you can make the number lower. 20 might be a bit too much for me, but 20 makes it hit real fast. Same with minus 20. I'm hoping I'm making sense. This will be easier explained in the mouth section of this. We're just going over the face here for now. As you can see, it snaps a lot faster with the minus 20, because the dot hits 20 a lot faster. This all depends on your face. You might even need to use 10 or minus 5. Just see what number your face hits when you turn. And have fun with it. Go crazy. Make it look how you want it to look. Now, I like the basic look of it. But what would happen if we would switch those numbers around? What if up here would be minus 30 and I turn right? Nothing. So we gotta swap it down here as well. Oh, my face movement, it worked, but it's different now. So if you have a thing where your body matches your face of the tracking, that just basically reverses the numbers. You look right, your model looks left. You look left, your model looks right. That way you can make the body match or not match with the tracking. It is all up to you how you do this. And now once again, it looks like this. So play around with these numbers, have fun with them. You can always go back to the default, so don't sweat it. So we're taking care of the face first. Oh, my bad. I don't have them in a folder. I'll be right back. Alright, I have set up the folders again. Thankfully, right this time, so we're just gonna work on face for now. Like I said before, just look at the red dot, move your face around with it. If it goes right, what number does it hit? Do you like the way your face look when you set it up to the number? I personally don't, so I keep it at the, same place. If you want it to, look different, play around with the dot. Up and down, same thing. I could try going for 30. Just play around with it, have fun with the numbers. Look at the red dot, see what you hit up there, see what you hit down here, and play around with it. Also, maybe you'd like the smoothing to be more or less. This is all up to you. Now, I don't want the lean to move with the body in the same direction, so I'm going to reverse these because I think it looks nicer. It's a bit disorienting, but that's how the tilt works now. Really cute, I think, personally. Maybe, you know what, maybe you don't like it when it does with the head. Maybe you want the head to move along the way you do, but you don't want the body to do it. Well, you can do the same thing for the body parameters. Good news. So we can hit minus 30 here, 30 here. And now your head follows your movement, just not the body. And you got the same exact end result. So you can have fun with that. Same for body Y rotation. If you want to look down, the body goes up, you can do minus 30 here. You want to look up and the body goes down, you can do 30. Just play around with this. This is just the input your camera sees, like I said before. If you look up, it hits 36. So let's say you want it to move down when you look up. There we go, it hits 30. You look down, it's minus. And the dot corresponds to where you're looking. Now, I really don't like this with the up and down, so I'm gonna change it back, but I hope this makes more sense than what I explained before. I know I'm going over things like 10 times at the moment, but it just helps me personally understand things a lot more when I get them shown to me over and over again a few times. X, left and right, I like how that works. Now, as always, if you want it to move the same way with the body, that depends on your rigging. My rigging is set up the way that the head does move in the same way like the body does. So this just depends on your personal preferences and what your rigger set up. Now, eyes. People don't really look at eyes too much, and I get why. Because they're usually okay, but what if you're not okay? What if you blink, but as you can see right now, the blinking doesn't work as much? And the settings are right, and there's nothing else that works, and it's moving. Like, it might help a bit if you turn it down, but then it's too harsh. You don't want it to be so harsh. The blinking isn't right. Why do you blink like a frog? What's the deal? Well, that might be the sensitivity. Now, what's sensitivity? Very simple. We're going to go to webcam tracking, video, and visual settings for this one, and we're going to scroll down until we go to tracking settings. These I have mentioned before because you need to understand the basics on how the parameters are set up, and then you can play around with these. If you set up parameters and you still don't like the way that they look or how sensitive stuff is, you want to go into tracking settings. You will notice a few settings here. Once again, these depend on you, but I would recommend stay at pose, manual, and never. Basically, link eye blinking means they're always blinked. So there is no frog blink. However, you can't really wink with those either. When face is rotated as well, that's the same thing. I have done never, so there's more facial expressions. Now, sensitivity, if you go to 0, it's less. 100, it's obviously more. How do I explain this the best way? I think with mouth open sensitivity. See how it's harder for me to hit mouth open when it's at 100 versus when it's at 0? As you can see, at 0, the mouth opens more. At 100, it's kind of harder. You can also hit reset, all back to basics. Same with the brows. Just so that you can play around with these settings if you don't like how the tracking ends up looking in the end. Now, Pip's teeth look weird right now because she has V-bridge tracking, but don't worry about that right now. Don't worry about that. Now, once you're happy with the sensitivity settings on your Vtuber model, because these are important as well, you can go back and play around more with the parameters. Now the blinking should be fine, same with the mouth open and everything else. Now, mouth is the tracking people are most concerned about, because that's quite a fun one to set up, because people don't really know what it means. Like I showed you earlier, you can always play around with parameters in hotkey settings to see what they do, But just for the little tutorial's sake, mouth open basically is just nothing else. Mouth smile is responsible for the shapes of your mouth lick. That is mouth smile. So when you talk, the mouth shapes are dependent on this. So I would say close your lips and smile. I hit at 0.8. I wanted to hit it a bit faster than that, so I'm going to put it at 0.7. And now the smile is more intense. How about my frown? 0.2 for me, alright. And now it's easier to look sad or angry, depending on your tracking. As you can tell, Ari looks a lot better. Mouth open is the same thing. If you mumble a lot, if you have tiny lips like I do, look at your dot. If you close your lips, what does it say? For me, it's at 0, which means my mouth is closed. If you have the issue with your mouth being open too much, that number might sit at 0.2 or 0.1. So down here in input, make this number match whatever the tracking number is for your camera, because this is when your mouth is closed. So for example, if I have 0.2, it's still closed, but it looks a lot nicer. Now I hit the 1 usually around 0.6, and now I'm having an easier time talking. I don't have to move my lips crazily, my mouth doesn't have to look like a frog when I talk. Obviously puppeteering your model, like bouncing around, making expressions, looking crazy, helps a lot when the tracking is working, but these parameters do go a long way at the end of the day. Now blush when smiling, that depends on you as well. We can have an output. I don't think Pip has a blush. She does not, but if you have a blush toggle or expression, you can set up a blush as well in output, and whenever you hit a smile, your model starts blushing. Now, this is it for the basic setup for VTube Studio. I'm just gonna hit the auto setup for my model right now. And I'm gonna use Gem, because they already have all the fun parameters set up. I'm gonna hit OK. Copy that. And now the tracking looks this way. Why does Pip look so different now all of a sudden when I'm talking? Well, it's simple. Pip uses VBridger. Now, VBridger, it has a lot more parameters for the mouth. As you can see, we don't just have mouth open and mouth smile. We have mouth X, jaw open, mouth funnel, mouth press lip open, mouth pucker, cheek puff. Oh, mistyped that. And mouth shrug. Now, if a parameter at any point is ever red, that means you don't have it. So just look in output if it has a different name. Now, the thing is with VBridger, it's nice, but some stuff can only be used with iPhone. Tongue out, cheek puff are iPhone only compatible, so that's why I'm not puffing my cheeks right now. It just will not work. But you can still pull fun faces. Mouth X is not dependent on VBridger. Now, how do you set up all these parameters in VBridger? They're scary. Well, let me take away your fears. Mouth X, simple to set up. Once again, to know what you're setting up basically, look at the hotkeys in Expression Editor. Create new expression. For VBridger, you can look up some sheets, but they will be confusing and you will not know what to do. So I would say look at these and it will tell you what to do and what it should look like. As you can see, they're all working, they're all fun. We just have to set them up right. This also depends on your face, so just try copying those movements you see on the parameters with your face. Jaw open, if you have that, just copy your mouth open settings. That way your jaw will work the same way your mouth does. Because, you know, mouth open and jaw open, they're one thing, basically. Mouth funnel, the same thing. Try making a funnel with your mouth. And see how you like when it looks like when it hits that. Mouth press up open, the same thing. I'm just scrolling down here so you can kind of copy the settings that I have. Hopefully they will help you. If they don't, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, these are the settings that I have. Very simple. and you can really have fun with VBridger. This also applies to the brows. Now, I don't think I made a brow parameter. I didn't, I put them in eyes, but that's okay. Because VBridger sometimes has brows. Now, this is important for normal brow users as well. The input is usually brows. If we enter brows, oops, you will usually have brows as the input. We don't want brows as the input. If it says brow height left, we're gonna go with brow left Y. We will always go with left Y. If it's for right, obviously right Y, because we want the brows to track our brows. We don't want it to be like basic and stale. So make sure your inputs of the brows is always matching the right thing. As you can see here, input is brows. We want it left. We want it left. Brow form left. And then brow form right gets the brow right. That will just make the brow movement and your eye movement look so much nicer. Same with squint. Just make sure you got all your inputs and outputs to match and look nice. That way your tracking will look nice too. That's basically all that is to making your Vtuber tracking look good. There's not much more left I can tell you. If you want even more intense details about the mouth, you can connect your microphone. Once again, using a microphone depends on you. I just went to general settings and external connections and scrolled down. Be careful doing this on stream when people can see your stuff because your IP address is in here. So just be careful when scrolling. Now, if you have a microphone, you can select it right here. And then set use microphone, the volume gain, the volume cutoff, frequency gain. You can change your lip sync type as well. Now, it will be a bit harsh on your PC, and as you can see, the lips already look different when moving. I used advanced lip sync, and for that I calibrate the vowels. Now, they are Japanese, so I do pronounce it kind of like in a Japanese fashion. So A would be A instead of A, and E would be E instead of I. I hope that makes sense. Sometimes your rigger has set up these for you as well. As parameters, they will tell you. Then you can set up in model, hit OK, and then use voice A, voice I, voice U. So you already have those ready. If your rigger didn't set them up, you can calibrate. So make the shape you want that vowel to have, and then, record it. I'm gonna do that real quick. And there you have it. Your mouth tracking should look a lot nicer now, just by simply doing that. Yeah, I hope this tutorial helped you guys at least a little bit. In the next video, I'm gonna go over hotkeys and how to set those up, and then the rest, yeah, it will just be fun explaining the buttons, how you can customize your model, how to use assets right. If you have any more questions, please leave them down below. Big thanks again to Pip. Give her a follow, give her a thank you for letting me use her model like this. And I hope this helped. And see you next time. Bye bye.